Well. It's starting. Here we go again. The Washington Post. Trump's GOP rivals open door to cutting Social Security for younger people. Three of Donald Trump's rivals for the 2024 GOP presidential nomination are pushing to cut to Social Security benefits that would only affect younger Americans. So we pay for these people to retire now. Who's going to pay for us if we're even still here anymore? To cut Social Security benefits that would only affect younger Americans. As the party's leaders grapple with explosive politics of the retirement program. Yes, it's broken. It needs to be fixed. It has been for the last 30 to 40 years. In comments on Sunday, as well as in interviews earlier this year, Florida's Governor Ron DeSantis, Republican, I think if he went on as vice president, got some experience, I think he would do a good job. I really do. Better than what we have now. Said Social Security will need to be revamped, but not for people who are near or in retirement. That makes sense. I mean, they did their time. They put in the money. They shouldn't have to suffer. Neither should we. Former Vice President Mike Pence and former South Carolina Governor Nikki Haley have taken similar positions since launching their presidential campaigns. Come on, Pence. No. You're too nice of a guy, man. You'll roll over. No. Nikki Haley. Maybe. But not a chance. From earlier days of his 2016 run, Trump has vowed not to touch either Social Security or Medicare. A break from GOP orthodoxy that has shifted the party's views and has more recently hammered DeSantis for wanting to cut the program. That's why he got elected the first time. The Republican Party is broke. So is the Democrat Party. The woke party. They both suck now. That's what I'm saying. Peacemaker 2024. When people say that we're going to somehow cut seniors, that is totally not true. DeSantis said on Fox News, talking about making changes for people in their 30s and in their 40s so the program's viable. That's a much different thing. And something I think there's going to need to be a discussion on. A huge discussion, but there's been a discussion forever. Nothing's changed. Nothing should change for the, as they say, for the ones who are retiring or close to retiring. On Monday, Pence told Fox Business, "I'm glad to see another candidate in this primary has been willing to step up and talk about it. The position that the three Trump rivals are taking against that even the fiscally conservative candidates in the GOP presidential primary are reluctant to endorse. Cutting Social Security for seniors, highlighting just how much the party has shifted on this issue." They really have. Always do around election time. Former House Speaker Paul D. Ryan, Republican, Wisconsin, the party's 2012 vice presidential candidate, had led the party in campaigning budget blueprints that would have entailed significant cuts to both Social Security and Medicare. See, Medicare, that one needs a lot of work. So does food stamps. As the Republican Party becomes increasingly reliant on older voters for support, so true, but that's going to change soon. All these people growing up, getting out of college, the woke agenda, trying to get into the workforce, finally getting into the workforce, looking at their paychecks, looking around like, whoa, those professors didn't teach me crap. I went to college too, so. Support. And as Trump continues to exert heavy influence over the party's beliefs, GOP policymakers have followed the former president's lead in steering clear of proposals to cut the program. Social Security, not Medicare, to a degree. White House Speaker Kevin McCarthy, Republican California, I think he'd do pretty good too, ruling that out in debt ceiling negotiations earlier this year with the White House. See, he's got promise. On concentrating potential cuts on the young, as the Trump challengers have proposed, has its downsides as well. The candidates' posture risk alienating young voters who have already become increasingly alienated from the Republican Party. That's true. Now, hot topic, the student loan forgiveness, I was a little in favor of, since I have student loans. Yeah, I know, pay back your loans, all this other stuff, but the interest was I don't know. See, I'm a little split on some of the issues. I don't just go out there and be like, no, just to stand with the party. That's what's wrong with America. One side, this side, no one ever meets in the middle and talks anymore. And cutting benefits for younger people leaves the bulk of the problem unresolved. Experts say given that the Social Security funding crisis is projected to arrive decades before millennials receive their first checks, it's clear it clearly would not address the shortfall or the short to medium term problem we're going to have in 10 years or less, said Howard Gleckman, senior fellow at the Urban Brookings Tax Policy Center, a nonpartisan think tank. Yeah, they're nonpartisan. Economists on both parties agree that Social Security and Medicare, the health insurance program, which, thank you, Obama. You know, back then I paid for full coverage, Blue Cross Blue Shield. I think it was like $57 a month back in 2008, and then 6 months later it was $150, and that was paying out of pocket, not employees, not employer. Get started down that rabbit hole. Okay, the healthcare insurance program for the elderly face funding crisis if Congress does not act to shore up their finances somehow, either by reducing benefits or raising taxes. Raising taxes never works because it doesn't go to the right stuff. Almost said it. I don't want to get a video shut down. Faces funding crisis in Congress does not act to shore up their finances somehow, either by reducing benefits or raising taxes. If no reforms are enacted, Social Security benefits for an estimated 60 million people will be cut by 20% starting in 2033. According to the most recent report of the Board of Trustees of the Social Security, who should be fired, and Medicare trust funds, Medicare also faces automatic benefit cuts as soon as 2031, the report says. President Biden has proposed increasing taxes on the rich and business to prevent Medicare for running out of funds. What happens when you tax the rich? Things roll downhill. What was that? Trigonomics? Things always roll downhill. You think they're going to take the brunt of that? But the latest White House budget does not propose a solution for extending Social Security. Surprise. Numerous congressional Democrats have called for trillions in new taxes to avoid the Social Security shortfall. As well, here's an idea. Cut a bunch of the stupid funding. Stop funding all these other countries that don't even like us just because we want to control them. How about we put it towards that? There's plenty of money out there. Plenty of tax money. I have no problem paying my taxes and paying stuff that actually benefits people. I don't mind paying for a family that needs it, but not a mom who has 8 kids by 7 dads, who doesn't want to get a job, who's driving a nicer car than me. My little rant about that. Let's get back to it. For new, have call for trillions, new taxes to avoid the Social Security shortfall as well. Policy experts have long said it will probably take a mixture of reduced spending and higher taxes to address the looming funding shortage facing Social Security and Medicare. Social Security's Old Age and Survivors Insurance Trust Fund is expected to only be able to pay 77% of benefits in 2023, which would probably lead to automatic reductions in payments. People in their 40s are still more than 2 decades away from receiving Social Security. The comments from DeSantis and Pence suggest that some Republicans have not updated their talking points from the 90s, said Brian Riddell, senior fellow at the Manhattan Institute and Libertarian leading think tank. 30 years ago, Riddell said it would have been possible to argue for resolving the funding shortfall only by limiting benefits for future recipients. But given that the enormous baby boomer generation is now at retirement age, expecting them from cuts would still leave program in crisis. I get the politics of not wanting to lead with, we will cut seniors, Riddell said, but it might be better to say nothing than to offer an unpopular approach that doesn't even avoid a debt crisis because it would be implemented far too late. If you don't have anything good to say, don't say anything at all. Donald Trump ruled Social Security and other benefits out of bounds politically. Orange man. For Republican politicians, said Bill Galveston, senior fellow at the Brookings Institution at Washington-based think tank. There are still Republicans, including some leading Republicans, who understand we won't make serious progress on our fiscal problems until everything's on the table. They're trying to open that discussion without it immediately being shut down. By Jeff Stain, The Washington Post. I believe if we cut their funding now, it's a tough one. You guys discuss, comment below. But be kind in the comments with each other. You guys have a good day.